Insights with Terri Coots, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Coots. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Thank you so much for joining me for the week of September the 19th through the 25th, 2022. Where has the summer gone? Stepping into fall. We're in Virgo in the sun sign still, which will allow us to look around and see maybe what we need to do to prepare for fall and winter, what things need to be addressed. It's an energy that likes to be in control, even though we're never really in control, but just working towards trying to not get into problems that could have been avoided is what Virgo likes. Doesn't like stupid, doesn't like to say, I knew that was going to happen, why didn't I fix it before? And then it turns into a big problem. So Virgo likes to be proactive. We are still in a Mercury Retrograde it's in Libra. It's going to be going into, because it goes backwards, going to be going into Virgo on the 24th. And so that shift again, even with it being in Mercury Retrograde, will maybe affect us in, everybody is a little different, but in different ways, such as maybe your hand-eye coordination will be off. Things that we do, you might tend to spill more, take missteps, so be very careful in how you walk, where you walk. Things happen during this time that I wouldn't say that we're prepared for, because who can be prepared for accidents? So be very careful. When it shifts this way, it can predispose us to doing things or having things happen that wouldn't normally happen. So just be as careful as you possibly can. That's going to go direct on October the 1st, but changing planets, changing zodiac signs in the planet of Mercury while it's going retrograde can give us a little bit of an issue. So this is a great time to do things that are retro. I'm having my generator. It's an old generator. It's about 18 years old. I'm having that looked at and fixed. Had my old boiler looked at and fixed. So you can go retro. You can fix an old car. You can redo your books. You can reorganize. You can retrofit your house. Anything new can end up with lemons. So I don't think I would sign a contract if I could help it for a new car at this time. I can do the research, but I just wouldn't do the new thing. You're just not satisfied. And Murphy's Law being in effect, just be careful. Other people are going to make mistakes. You don't want to be part of their mistakes. So drive carefully, like everybody is not thinking straight, and you just don't trust that they're going to not go through that red light. Then Venus, the planet of love and beauty, that's in Virgo too, which compounds the sun sign and Mercury. So it's a fabulous time to just look at your place, look at your surroundings, look at your relationships and go over them and say, what do I want to fix? What's off in my life? It gives us a very clear point of view. I need to do this, 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 this. And it makes us feel good when we get things done. So if you got the trimming done, or you swept the porch, or you got rid of the cobwebs on the entrance, just these little things that could be bothering you, even though you don't know it, or you might be subconsciously aware of it, it just cleans it up and makes us feel loose and much, much better. Mars, the planet of our passion and our drive, that's in Gemini, and Gemini is that interested, curiosity kind of an energy field that allows us to really want to research. If there's anything that you wanted to research, if there's anything you want to learn, if there's a new subject, a new hobby, new project that you wanted to take on, this is the time for it. Boring people with boring stories or the same repetitive things, maybe you have a friend that just goes over the same thing over and over and over, it will make your teeth hurt. So this isn't the time that you'll enjoy something like that. Sometimes we just have to do it. But this is the time when you'll enjoy more. Maybe a new person that has new stories or new ideas or a new hobby, something different. Go to a different restaurant instead of the same old restaurant that you're familiar with. Just try new things during that time. That kind of an energy really craves it. Now we're going to have a new moon on the 25th, and that's in Virgo as well. Again, compounding that need to be on top of things, to have things organized. So maybe before you start this work week, you can look ahead and say, what do I need to get done to start? Myself personally, I hate starting a new week when I haven't finished my stuff from last week. So this would be a perfect time, maybe Sunday night, give myself a couple of hours to just go over my books, make sure my appointments are all correct, that I haven't made a mistake with Mercury Retrograde, catch up on things to organize the desk. All of that will make me feel better about working at the next week. So if you work on that, you're just going to feel like you're right on top of the world, especially with this new moon. The new moon offers us new behavior patterns if we choose to look that way, new ways of looking at things. If there's something new that you would like in your life, I don't mean to buy something, I mean to work on. So maybe a person finds that they don't keep their word and you'd like to be more responsible, more accountable. That would be a new behavior pattern you could look at. Maybe you feel that I'd like to be a little bit more boundary oriented, where I can keep my boundaries. Whatever, just look at what you'd like to have new or work on about yourself. This is the time to do it. This is the time that you can really get at that and change some habits that maybe you're not enthralled with. The first part of the week, you may find that tender tummies happen a little bit more often, so watch your animals, watch your kids. I would be careful about maybe some of the foods that through this whole week, that if you're sensitive to maybe grease or oil, if you're sensitive to certain foods, don't put pressure on your tummy this week. It will be a tender tummy for many, many people. Not everybody, but a good amount of people. So this would be the time that you don't go experimenting with spices or whatever it is that you're not used to. This is a time where you kind of get to the old reliable things and just really watch what you put in your mouth. This time, if you have acid reflux, anything like that, don't push things. The middle of the week, there may be a little bit of pressure put on our heart, our blood pressure, if you're vulnerable in that area, your aorta, blood circulation. So the heart, that motor, that center part of your whole being, is going to have a little bit of pressure. So watch your stress levels. Who does stress levels on purpose? Nobody. But if you know something's going to stress you, what can you do to be ahead of it? How can you think to change your stress patterns? That's just something that we have to look at. So just watch the heart. If you have issues with your heart in the middle of the week, there's a little bit more pressure coming on that. The equinox is going to happen on the 22nd through the 23rd, depending on your latitude and your longitude. The equinox marks the halfway point. So there's definitely a shift in energy at that point. It's half and half. The sun is equal at that time. The night is equal at that time. So with that, in nature, we strive for balance. So you may be being offered the opportunity to look into your life and say, what's out of balance? Where could I strive for harmony? How could I look at my life and balance certain things? I know myself, I'm really bad for overworking and underplaying. And that's not the best thing in the world. So look at what in your life is out of balance, relationships, money, whatever, and look at it and say, how could I work towards balance? So with this energy shift that comes with the equinox, it's the universe, it's Mother Earth guiding us towards change, guiding us to evolve, guiding us to grow in a new direction. So when you look at that, look at nature, where it's starting to shed its leaves. So nature's shedding, we should shed. Should mirror nature. Shed behaviors that you don't want. Shed people that aren't good in your life. Thoughts. You look at your life and say, what do I need to let go? Just like a leaf on a tree right now. Nature right now is expanding and contracting. And that's what this energy shift is about. So we have to see what's important to us. What is important in your life? Where is your desire to put your intentions? What do you want to fix? The veil between the physical and the spiritual during this equinox is always very thin. So it's a higher vibration. That vibration lends towards harmony. So this is something that we are supported in. So this is the perfect time to take advantage of that and do something like that. The beginning of Libra is happening this next week, the week coming. And that flows towards giving, receiving, trying again to find balance. So everything is about balance right now. Do you like who you are when you're around certain people? If you don't, what can you do about it? How can you fix this? That's something that they're giving us to look at. So we have a lot of opportunities this week to look at our lives, change what we need to, reinforce what we'd like to keep going. What is it that you want more of? What is it you want less of? The number that was given to us for this week is number 7. Now, number 7 prefers mental work, which is awesome. Because Virgo in the sun sign, Virgo in Mercury, Virgo went towards the 24th, and then Virgo in Venus, that's all thinking. Virgo is thinking. Gemini in Mars, that's thinking. So number 7 is very smart to come up this week. It wants us to realize our potential, to work hard in order to improve ourselves. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Number 7 needs friendship. So we may find ourselves reaching out a little bit more towards other people, for other people. It makes us look a little bit more at marriage and partnerships. It can be complicated. It can want independence, but it also wants that partnership. When number 7 is around, expect changes in your life. You can't force anything with this. Don't. But expect the changes. You're adding the equinox. You're adding the changes that number 7 usually brings. So a lot of this, Mercury Retrograde will be going forward October the 1st. A lot of changes in astrology and a lot of changes down here. All of this is something for us to embrace, not force. So in order to succeed right now, we need to communicate with others, to experience life, to develop that self-confidence that we need to be good people, balanced people, to look at friendships and relationships and say they need to play a major role in our life somehow, some way. We need to look at what our material goals should be and what do we need to do about achieving them. Number 7 supports that. Even sometimes money can come in expected ways if we're open for the opportunity. And I want to get back to that a little bit later. So it's a rich spiritual life that's being offered to us right now. If you can get outside, when we have the equinox, nature takes over. So being outdoors consciously, by the mountains, we don't have them here, by the sea, we've got a little river. But anything that's just countryside, get outside if you can. If you have a propensity to be a healing person, to help other people heal, this is the time to work on your healing talents, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual, even if you divert it to yourself. I had an incident and my good friends offered some spiritual healing energy, and it was a total miracle. I don't want to get into the specifics, but an absolute total miracle. So please don't discount the power that people have when they encourage and support you in your healing. It's amazing. Now, the weaknesses of where the planets are right now and number 7 combined, what we should be learning is don't get stuck in excessive pessimism. Virgo can contribute to that if you're not careful. If you don't get proactive with Virgo, we can get pessimistic. I'll never catch up. I'm too overloaded. It's too much. Also, curtness can happen. I found myself guilty of that this week. I wanted to slap my face. I just couldn't believe I was that curt. Pressure, right? I'm not excusing myself, but be aware that it can come out of your mouth. So be very careful with the number 7 in Virgo that curtness doesn't become a characteristic. And don't be too proud to be inaccessible. You've got to watch pride during this time and inaccessibility. Virgo likes to be alone. Virgo likes to be on its own. So that we can sometimes hide when we need to be accessible to certain people. So really look at that. And be aware of loneliness. That's a weakness for this. And lacking realism. I am running into that with certain people. It's not realistic, some of the things that they're saying and doing. So I have to look at, are you recognizing, am I recognizing that this isn't a realistic attitude, or this isn't realistic goals, or even in your friends and family, they're not being realistic possibly. So look at it, just how can I adjust that? So we have an amazing week this week to really work on ourselves. I just pulled a couple of tarot cards. I'm going to briefly look at it. The biggest one was not to miss opportunity. It was the card of opportunity upside down. So what we have to be careful of is we'll be offered some opportunities to do some healing, to offer some healing, to change our lives, to look at certain things, and we could miss it. We could get so busy and forget that we need to do it. We might need to just stop and look at, is this a door I need to go through? And be very careful, according to the tarot cards that were pulled for all of us very generally. There's going to be some pressures on many people's health, and very strongly in this next week. I would assume, logically, it would be the kids going back to school, the beginning of the flu season. Just take extra precaution. I have not worn my mask around people in public. If I'm outside, I make sure I'm distant from them. Be very super duper careful. And if you happen to get your hands on camphor, an essential oil, or eucalyptus, an essential oil of oregano, doTERRA has, I think they have On Guard. Young Living has Thieves. Let me see. There's RC in Young Living. Any of those, and you just want to inhale them, take a couple of good breaths, make sure those little viruses that are crawling around your nose and your lungs don't get a good foothold. Make your immune system as strong as you possibly can, whatever it is that you normally do. And I know it sounds redundant, get some exercise. That increases our ability to have our immune system working at top notch. Just a little exercise, that's all it takes. And your sleep. Okay, so do all of those. Get that immune system running wild for yourself so that you can fight whatever's coming. Because that was a warning. Now, if you would like a reading for yourself personally, don't be afraid to give me a shout. You can call or text 519-726-6699. Or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com. And I'd like to take this moment to thank Charlie from the bottom of my heart for loading these podcasts for me. It takes a lot of time, and he does that for you, and he does that for me. So if you've got some website or anything technical, photographs, he takes some beautiful pictures of the dogs, and just access Charlie O'Brien. He's got us on Spotify. He has us on Apple iTunes, SoundCloud, Amazon Music Podcasts, and now YouTube. When he gives me that link, I will put it up on Facebook for you. And my website, www.terriworld.com. Charlie O'Brien has archived them for me. So I really appreciate your attention, and I appreciate Charlie's effort in this. Thanks. You have a wonderful week, all of you. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the weather. It's supposed to be absolutely marvelous. And hopefully, God willing, we will touch base again next week. Have a good one. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Insights with Terri Coots, and visit her website, terriworld.com, TERRI world.com. And we'll catch you next time